So the NFP will not support this motion.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honorable Kaba.
Honorable Speaker, members and members of the executive, the mover of this motion seeks to absolve himself from the obligation of taking the responsibility for the shameful anarchy he and his party caused during the joint sitting for the State of the Nation address. The ANC outrightly rejects this frivolous motion as nothing else but an attempt to divert our focus on the misconduct of EFF members on the day. The argument is that the Speaker misconducted herself in that she suppressed the right to free speech and discriminated against the members of a particular political party. That is far from the truth. It is also not true that the Speaker called the EFF members animals. Malema stands on this podium and makes wide accusation that a member of his party was inappropriately handled.
Honorable member, let me recognize the Honorable Shavambu. You may take a seat, Honorable Kaba. Just take a seat, please. Honorable Shavambu. Order, honorable members. Is the mic on? Order, honorable members. Can we ensure that the mic that the member is switched on and activated? Order, honorable members. Please proceed.
No, thank you very much, House Chair. So the speaker who is speaking there on the podium says Malema stands here and he's referring to the Commander-in-Chief. He must respect the Commander-in-Chief.
Order,
If you
honorable
continue
members.
speaking like that, we're going to close this contract.
Order, honorable members.
If you continue talking like that,
Honorable
we're going to close this
Shavambu,
contract.
what is the point of order?
The point of order is that he can't say Malema speaks. He
Honorable,
stands here. He
thank
must
you.
refer to him in his proper title
Thank
of
you.
Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you, honorable members.
Yes.
Honorable Kaba. Let's refer to each other in respectful terms and not on a first name or surname basis only.
Thank you. Honorable Malema stands on this podium and makes wide accusation that a member of his party was inappropriately handled. He did not ask himself why she reported that incident to him and not to the authorities of this parliament. Another untruth. The Speaker is criticized because both her and the President come from the same party. The target on the day was the President. The Speaker understands her role fully well. Her understanding is summed up by New South Wales Legislative Assembly Speaker Ray Maher when she said, I quote, this is what that speaker said, "Nothing that happens elsewhere is likely to affect my impartiality in the control of this House. I have a job to do, and it would be most improper if in my control of this House I have to subject to party discipline and in that way be more sympathetic to members on one side of the chamber than the other. As far as my political loyalty and principles are concerned, I'm subject fully to the control of the party to which I belong. As far as my administration of this House is concerned and my control of the proceedings of this House, I'm subject only to this honorable House, whose servant I am, close quote. Through this motion, the mover is disguising what actually happened on the day in question. The intention is to mislead the nation. When Honorable Malema did not get his way, he violently bolted onto the stage with the intention to cause a fright, and they sheepishly sheepishly followed him. We don't know what else he wanted or intended to do. Who would not have suspected that he intended to harm the president? The EFF members have made Malema, Honorable Malema, to think that he is the only person and they are nobody. And he comes and practices that in this house. Honorable John Steyensen stood up to defend the anarchy and chaos. I was disappointed, utterly disappointed. The need for strong and courageous leader grows every day as right-minded South Africans, ordinary people, seek better solutions to end poverty and reduce unemployment. The theatrics that the members of this House are subjected to is an antithesis of this noble objective of addressing the challenges we face. This is supposed to be the platform for the contestation of ideas. As Chairman Mao said, open quote, let 100 flowers bloom, let 100 schools of thought contend, close quote. Mao was challenging the intellectuals of his country, different and competing ideas, to voice their opinions about the issues of the day. Joe is better than war, to paraphrase Winston Churchill. I have been in this house for 3 years, but I still cannot tell you what the EFF essentially represents other than anarchy and chaos. Honorable members, it must be mentioned that on the day of the SONA, the Speaker afforded all members who raised various procedural points to add their views. We observed how, in many instances, some members of the EFF undermined the authority of the Speaker to maintain the decorum of the House and to allow the President to address the nation. On an occasion, convened at his request. It must be said that it was the first time in the history of Parliament that a group of members of Parliament stormed the stage and, worse enough, approaching the President of the Republic. The whole nation stood in wonder at what was happening. We have a history in this country of fighting for many years against the oppressive regime of apartheid. We come from a period where human rights were disregarded, a period where the right of freedom of speech and freedom of expression was outlawed. We now have the Constitution that guarantees freedom of speech. However, laid down as a general principle of construction, free speech would not in any way connote the acceptance that you use your freedom of speech to prevent other people from exercising their right to free speech. That is both bullying and thuggery. Section 58(1)(a) and Section 71(1)(a) of the Constitution make freedom of speech in the two houses subject to the rules and orders. The drafters of the Constitution anticipated that there would be times like this and built in a limitation clause. Consistent with this approach, in DA versus Speaker, and the Constitutional Court held that freedom of speech, I quote, can never go as far as to give members a license to disrupt the proceedings of Parliament, that it may be hamstrung and incapacitated from conducting its business. This would detract from the very reason d'etre of Parliament, a close quote. This position or this decision was confirmed in Delil, where Mohammed CJ held, I open quote, without some such internal mechanism of control and discipline, the Assembly will be impotent to maintain effective discipline and order during the debate. In terms of the rules of the Joint Rules of Parliament, member may not engage grossly disorderly conduct in the House and its forums, including using or threatening violence against a member or other person, or acting in any other way to the serious detriment of the dignity, decorum, or orderly procedure of this House. In the Joint Rules further provide that in the event of violence ensuing in the chamber, As a result of members resisting removal, the presiding officer may suspend proceedings and members of security services may be called by the Speaker during such period of suspended proceedings to assist with the removal of members from the chamber and the precinct of Parliament forthwith, provided that the security services may intervene directly anywhere in the precinct and in the chamber in terms of Section 4 of the Privileges Act when there is immediate danger to the life and safety of any person or damage to any property. Close quote. I argue that the storming of the stage posed an immediate danger to the life of the president. To that extent, the Speaker correctly exercised these powers. It is common cause that the EFF is on record that they don't want President Ramaphosa, and therefore their storming of Parliament cannot be storming of Parliament or the stage cannot be interpreted in any other way. Our message to the EFF is simple: you cannot have your cake and eat it. We would not allow ourselves to be bamboozled by you. On that day, the treatment meted against the EFF members teaches them the right etiquette. The only inference is that the action was not punitive, but protective. The means are proportional to their actions. It behooves upon this House to condemn the EFF. It behooves this House to condemn the EFF members for anarchy and thuggery. The ANC, therefore, will not support this motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Member.